Hello Internet, I'm Zach, and I'm back with Razzle to discuss Poltergeist. Poltergeist is directed by Gil Kennan and stars Sam Rockwell, Rosemary DeWitt, and Jared Harris. Now, Poltergeist is a remake of the 1982 Poltergeist film directed by Hooper and Spielberg. Now, let me tell you that I was actually really excited about coming in and seeing this Poltergeist film. Honestly, I was. And I think it has something to do with the fact that Gil Kennan directed Monster House. And Monster House, while being an animated horror film, actually kind of terrified me at times. I thought Monster House had a really deep theme, and I was genuinely scared at times. Another reason I was really interested in seeing this movie is because I saw two very good horror movies previously this year. I saw Unfriended, which I was genuinely unnerved at, and I also saw It Follows, which I thought was a fantastic film, one of the better films I've seen this year, and one of the better horror films I think I've ever seen. The issue with this Poltergeist is that there really isn't any story. I mean, there is a narrative, but it's very loose at times. There's never really any suspense. It's just simply action. The issue I feel with the narrative is that it's just disconnected. It's simply trick-or-treaty. I'm going to go door to door and be scared by different things at every single house, and that's what's happening during this film. You are in a house and you're being scared by many different things. I understand that the point of the movie is trying to see what scares you, and they know what scares you, and they're gonna get you all, but it doesn't scare you. It doesn't scare you at all. It never gets to the point of being terrifying, and that's what's really upsetting. I sat in the movie with my fiance and was never scared, not once throughout the movie. The issue with this remake is that they tried to capture the allure of the first film and simply missed it. They took us on a carnival ride of what scary should be, and it's just not what it just didn't work. At times, it was a beautifully crafted film. At times, there were scenes that, oh my gosh, they were about to work. They were about to be terrifying and heartfelt, and they were about to be just perfect, and they weren't. At times, I thought, at least, that you're watching the movie, there's a scene, and it's building tension, and it never gets to the point where you're actually worried or you're actually afraid. It just gets to the point of being disappointing. One thing I really enjoyed about the movie was there was this beautiful camera work in the beginning of the movie where everything was seamless and flowing. There was a scene where the camera tilts and flows, and it draws tension. It makes you feel, and they never went back to that. They didn't use it throughout the movie. The rest was disjointed. That being said, another thing I really enjoyed about the movie was their use of technology, the use of ways of trying to innovate the old story and make it something new. Even when the technology was used, it wasn't used in a scary manner. It was just used to say, hey, we're using technology. And at times it just felt sort of gimmicky. I loved the idea. I thought, man, if they could have done this in a different way, the technology would have been something that separated from the old movie and brought it into the new. Let's talk about characters for a few seconds. The two characters I really fell in love with were the characters of the younger boy and the younger girl. I really thought that it was their story, and it was their story. But no one else in the family did I connect to as a character. The dad, played by Sam Rockwell, at times was so touching, and I really enjoyed Sam Rockwell's acting for the most part in this movie. Now, there were times that he really phoned it in. There were scenes where you're like, this is not how you should do this. This is not how it should be acted. This is not anything. I feel nothing for what you're saying. But there were other times, and it was most of the time in the movie, where he just said the right thing at the right time, or his inflection was perfect, or you actually felt really bad for the character because of something that he said, or the way that he performed it. One individual I absolutely hated was Jared Harris's character. I don't know if it was the way the character was written, or the way he just portrayed it, but every time he was on the screen, I felt like I wanted to look away. I didn't think his character added anything to the story, which really is a shame because his character was an important part of the story. It was just the way he was portrayed made it seem like he was an absolute no one. The issue with Poltergeist is that I felt more sad during the film than actually afraid. I was sitting there thinking I wanted it to resolve itself, not because I was afraid or not because I was scared, but because I thought the little girl was cute and because I didn't want anything bad to happen to her. I wasn't afraid for her. I wasn't afraid of the thing coming after her. I was just like, she's cute, and honestly, I'd be a little upset. I'd be sad if that happened to her. That's not scary. I wasn't afraid. It didn't have psychological horror. It didn't have suspense. It had one jump scare that was effective throughout the entire movie. Poltergeist, the original, is probably the king of jump scares. And this movie, the remake, had one effective jump scare throughout the entire thing. And believe you me, I am not a fan of jump scares. It's simply that when I'm watching Poltergeist, a remake of the original Poltergeist, what is considered to be the predecessor of modern day horror films, I'm expecting some at least decent jump scares, or at least something that makes it seem like it's an original and not a satirical remake. Because that's what I viewed this as after walking out of the theater, a satirical remake of one of the best horror movies ever made. The thing that bothers me about this film is that all the parts for this film to succeed were there and it didn't deliver. That's why I'm giving this film a 2 out of 10. I understand that sounds harsh, but once you watch the film, I think you'll understand that as a horror movie, it doesn't deliver. It's not a horror movie. Thanks guys for watching. My name is Zach. Remember to always come back to Razzle for movie reviews. Remember to like and subscribe to our videos and follow me on Twitter. I'm Zach Maurer. Have a great day.